After 26 years, I found my biological parent. Guess what they said? You shouldn't have come. The door opened before I could catch my breath. For 26 years, I'd imagined this moment, the tearful reunion, the apologies, the explanations that would finally make sense of why I spent my childhood in foster homes while other kids had parents who picked them up from school. But when the woman in the white linen dress stared at me like I was a ghost clawing out of her past, when her hands trembled against the doorframe, when she glanced over my shoulder to make sure no one was watching, I knew this wasn't a reunion. It was the beginning of her reckoning. Behind her, through polished glass windows, I saw people gathered around a birthday cake glowing with candles. The frosting read, "Happy 26th, Lily." That's when it hit me. I was 26 too, born the same week, maybe even the same day. The woman who abandoned me at birth had built an entire life around another daughter, celebrating milestones she never gave me, pretending I didn't exist at all. I opened my mouth, my voice barely a whisper. "Mom?" She flinched like I'd slapped her. Her eyes darted over my shoulder, checking if anyone was watching. Then she stepped outside, pulling the door closed behind her, and grabbed my arm so tight it hurt. "You shouldn't have come here." Her voice was cold, sharp, nothing like the warm reunion I'd imagined for 26 years. I laughed, but it came out broken. "You recognize me." She glanced back at the house, at the party glowing through the windows, at the life she protected. "My family can't know about you." Then she shoved an envelope into my hands. Thick, heavy. I looked down and saw the edge of cash peeking out. "This should be enough," she said. "Please, just go." She disappeared back inside before I could respond, the door clicking shut with finality. I stood there on that perfect porch, holding an envelope full of guilt money, while the woman who gave birth to me celebrated another girl born the same week I was. The laughter inside rose and fell, like waves. Someone started singing "Happy Birthday." I heard her voice join in, warm and loving, the kind of voice I used to imagine tucking me in at night. I looked down at the envelope again. My hands shook. For 26 years, I'd wondered if she thought about me, if she regretted leaving me, if somewhere deep down she wanted to find me too. Now I knew. She did think about me. She just thought of me as a mistake she needed to bury. I turned and walked back to my car, but I didn't drive away. I sat there in the dark, watching the party through the windows, watching her smile and hug people and cut the cake. Then I opened my phone and typed her name, Dr. Victoria Hale. And I started planning. My name was Emma Carter, foster homes from age 2, cheap motels when the system aged me out. Every birthday was spent wondering if someone out there thought of me. I spent 3 days learning everything about Dr. Victoria Hale. TED Talks about family healing, best-selling books on motherhood, charity galas for abandoned children. The internet called her America's family healer. Her daughter Lily ran a foundation for foster kids, kids like I used to be. On the 4th day, I saw a job posting. The foundation needed an assistant. I changed my last name to Matthews and applied. Lily hired me 2 days later. "Welcome to the team, Emma." I started the following Monday, and every Tuesday, Dr. Victoria Hale stopped by. The first time I saw her walk through that door, my heart stopped. She glanced at me, smiled politely, and kept walking. No recognition. But the second week, she looked at me longer. The third week, she paused mid-sentence, her eyes catching mine. By the 4th week, I could see it in her face. She knew. I kept my head down, answered phones, filed paperwork, but every night I stayed up late. I learned the layout. I figured out which drawers were locked. One night, after everyone left, I slipped into her office. Awards lined the shelves. Mother of the Year, Lifetime Achievement. I found a locked drawer at the bottom of her desk. I pried it open with a letter opener. Inside, my adoption papers, and stapled to them, a signed check from 26 years ago. The memo line read, "Confidential Agreement, Employee Termination." Victoria Hale hadn't been Dr. Hale back then. She'd been a 24-year-old intern, pregnant by her married boss. When his wife found out, the firm paid Victoria to disappear, to give me up, to pretend I never existed. She took the money. She gave me away. Then she rebuilt herself into someone who profited off telling other people how to love their children. I took photos of everything. Then I placed them back and wrote a note on her calendar. "Do you forgive the daughter you left behind?" The next morning, Victoria arrived early. Her face was pale, tight. Her hands shook as she poured coffee. 2 weeks later, she cornered me in the break room. We were alone. "Who are you?" she asked quietly. "I'm someone who knows what you did." Her face crumpled. "What do you want?" "Nothing yet." She stepped closer, voice dropping to a whisper. "Please, I made a mistake. I was young. I had no choice." "You had a choice," I said calmly. "You chose the money." Her eyes filled with tears. "My family can't know. It would destroy them." I tilted my head. "Then maybe we should talk, privately." She invited me to lunch 3 days later, a quiet restaurant with white tablecloths and soft lighting, the kind of place where people have important conversations. Victoria arrived wearing a navy dress and practiced smiling. She hugged me like we were old friends. "Emma, thank you for meeting me." I sat across from her, watching her perform. She ordered tea, folded her hands, looked at me with what was supposed to be maternal warmth. "I want to explain. I need you to understand." "I was 24, she began. Pregnant, alone. The father was married. His wife found out and threatened to ruin me. The firm offered me a settlement if I left quietly, if I gave up the baby, if I signed papers saying I'd never contact you." She dabbed her eyes with a napkin that didn't need to be used. "I thought I was doing what was best. I thought you'd have a better life with a real family." "But I didn't," I said softly. "I grew up in foster care." She reached across the table, grabbing my hand. "I didn't know that would happen. I thought they'd find you a good home. I thought..." "You thought you could forget about me." Her grip tightened. "I never forgot, not once. But I built a life. I met my husband. I had Lily. I created something good out of something broken." I pulled my hand back slowly. "And now I'm threatening that." "No," she said quickly. "No, that's not what I meant. I just..." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "I want to make this right. I want to help you. But I need you to understand that my family can't know. Not yet. Maybe not ever." "What are you asking me to do?" She slid another envelope across the table, thicker than the first one. "Enough to start over. Anywhere you want. A fresh beginning. And in exchange, you want me to disappear." "I want us both to move forward," she corrected. "I want you to have the life you deserve. Just somewhere else." I stared at the envelope, at this woman who gave birth to me and was now buying my silence for the second time in my life. Then I smiled. "I understand now." Relief flooded her face. "You do?" "Yes." I stood up, leaving the envelope on the table. "I understand exactly who you are." Her smile faltered. "Emma, wait." "I'll see you at the gala, Dr. Hale." I walked out, leaving her sitting there with her guilt money and her practiced apologies, finally understanding that some things can't be bought. The charity gala was 2 weeks later. Cameras, reporters, donors in glittering dresses. Dr. Victoria Hale was scheduled to give the keynote speech on family unity. I volunteered at registration. I smiled, handed out name tags, and watched Victoria work the room. She saw me once, and her face went pale, but she recovered quickly. When it was time for her speech, the room quieted. She stepped onto the stage. "Family is everything," she began. "It's the foundation we build our lives on. And every child deserves a family that fights for them." The audience nodded. "A good mother," Victoria continued, voice soft, "never abandons her child. That wound never heals." I stood at the back, phone in hand. Then the side door opened. A woman in a gray suit walked in, carrying a manila folder. She moved through the crowd with purpose, heading straight for the stage. Victoria's assistant. The one I'd befriended over the past month. The one I'd shown the photos to. The one who'd been waiting for this moment. She handed Victoria the folder mid-speech. Victoria's face went white. "I'm sorry, there must be some mistake." "Open it," the assistant said, loud enough for the front row to hear. Victoria's hands shook as she pulled out the documents. The check, the adoption papers, the memo line visible to anyone close enough to see. "Dr. Hale," I said, stepping forward with a microphone, "do you believe every child deserves a second chance?" She stared at me. "Of course." "Even the one you sold 26 years ago?" "Shh." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones lifted. Cameras turned. Victoria tried to speak. This isn't. "That's my adoption file," I said calmly. "And that's the check you received to give me up. Confidential agreement, employee termination. You didn't just abandon me. You were paid to make me disappear." Her husband stood up from his seat. "Victoria, what is she talking about?" Lily's hand went to her mouth. "Mom?" Victoria looked at me with something between rage and desperation. "You can't do this. We had an agreement." "You had an agreement. I never agreed to anything." The room erupted. Reporters moved closer. Her husband stormed toward the stage. Victoria grabbed the microphone. "She's lying. She's confused. She doesn't understand." "I have DNA results," I said. "And audio recordings of our lunch, where you offered me money, again." The word fell like a guillotine. Victoria's face crumpled. Her mask shattered in real time, piece by piece, while cameras captured every second. I didn't need to say anything else. The truth spoke for itself. I turned and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard Lily's voice crack. "Is it true?" Victoria's silence was answer enough. 3 weeks later, her foundation collapsed. Her book deal was canceled. Dr. Victoria Hale vanished from the news. I didn't follow the story. I didn't need to. Instead, I visited the foster center where I grew up. The same peeling paint, the same kids wondering if anyone would choose them. I donated the money from selling my story. Every cent, enough to renovate the building and create scholarships. One of the younger girls asked me why I came back. "Because someone once told me I shouldn't have come," I said. "But I'm glad I did." She looked confused. "Did you find what you were looking for?" I thought about that question. Did I find a mother? A family? Closure? No. I found something better. I found proof that the people who break you don't get to define you. That walking away from someone who hurt you isn't a weakness. That sometimes the best thing you can do is let the truth speak and build something better from what they left behind. The girl smiled at me. Do you think anyone will adopt me? I knelt down and looked her in the eyes. I think the right people will find you. And if they don't, you'll find yourself, and that's enough. She hugged me, and I realized something unexpected. I didn't go to that house looking for a mother. I went looking for permission to stop searching, and I found it. Not from her, from me. Sometimes, the people who were supposed to love you teach you how to love yourself instead. And that's a lesson worth 26 years. If this story hit you somewhere deep, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if someone you know needs to hear this, share it with them. Sometimes, the permission to walk away is the greatest gift we can give each other.